can't play both sides of the fence. Now you just
I'm
said
just
someone
telling
else
you.
gonna win. Now you ain't talking about Lakers gonna win the championship. Now you stop it.
No, look, I'm picking the Bucks. But
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. This is the Hood Report, where we're talking about sports and diversity, all sorts of topics that relate to the sports world and what needs to be talked about within that culture. So, we are here with our host for the podcast. We're here with Rodney, Martin, Leon, and Quinton today. We have a good topic for you guys today. We're talking about some of the conferences happening with the Western and Eastern Conference with the NBA championship. So, we kind of want to we want to talk a little bit about the teams and who do we think is going to come out of these conferences. So let's just start. We're going to separate the real threats from the fake threats. Okay, we're going to look at the top 6 teams from both conferences. But the big question is, are they true championships or just regular season pretenders? So I'm going to go down the list and then everybody can kind of weigh in if they think they're fooling anybody or do they think they're really going to make it. So here are 6 teams. We have the LA Clippers. We have the Houston Rockets, we have the LA Lakers, Memphis Grizzlies, we have Denver Nuggets, and the OKC Thunder. So let's weigh in a little bit. And what do you guys think about these 6?
It ain't even nothing to talk about. Pretenders, because they always fade away, and they ain't never made it to the Western Conference Finals. So they just cut them short. I mean, this is real simple. The Houston Rockets. I really like the Houston Rockets, but they're young and they're not ready yet. But I do think when they get Van Fleet back, I think they will be better, but I don't think they're ready right now to be on that big stage. Now, this one right here, the next one, I would have to say I might have got this one wrong because I did say the Lakers was not ready. But after seeing these last few weeks, I knew from the beginning that Luka and LeBron offensively would be very effective because you can't stop what both of them do. Both of them great IQs of the basketball. So, but defensively, I thought they would struggle, and they've been a lot better than what I thought it was defensively. So I do think the Lakers are a contender. Memphis, I'm gonna say Memphis is a contender, and I think only if Ja is available and ready to play. So I will put Memphis as a contender. Denver Nuggets, I think they're a contender because they did it before. They have one of the best players in the world in Joker, and Murray has stepped up and he's shown what when they did win the championship that he had them skills to get it done. So I do think they're a contender. OKC, even though they have the best record, I just think right now they're not ready yet. I think they're young, and I think they only have one really reliable scorer, and I think second scorer is kind of questionable. Williams is not that dependent to be in a big game, so I think they're a pretender.
Okay.
Wow, okay.
All right, that's good list. Quentin, how about you weigh in? Yeah.
Okay, I'll go next. The Clippers, who we fooling? They ain't never been contenders. You know, even on their good days, when you thought they had a chance, they still found a way to let us down. So until proven otherwise, they will always be pretenders. All right. Houston Rockets, you know, good team. You know, doing some good things, but when it comes down to it, no, they're not going to be able to be a contender this year. Lakers. I was telling my cousins this a few weeks back that when they first made the trade, I was on board with them going to the chip for the chip, and they were looking at me like it was looking at me and Tweety like we was crazy. And I said, and now they're starting to come around to it, you know, a little bit. So they're definitely contenders.
I still think you're crazy. But not about the Lakers. So go ahead.
Memphis Grizzlies, you know, they're contenders. I'm gonna give them a shot. You know, I don't think they when they need to put everything together. Honestly, I think they're missing something. So I'm no pretenders because they're not going. They're not. They got a good show, but they always come up a little short. All right, Denver Nuggets. You got the Joker. Always a contender with that. OKC, it's the story of the young bull. They done ran down the hill, and one of these old bulls is coming walking down the hill, and they're gonna get it all. All right, so they are not contenders; they are pretenders, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay, Tweety, how about you say yours next?
All right. Out of these 6, you only got 3 contenders. All right. You got the Denver Nuggets, the champs from a couple years ago. All right. You got they're all right, but them Lakers already got through one time this year, so they're a contender. All right. And then you got OKC. OKC is young and ready to thrive, but when it comes to the Lakers in the playoffs, I don't think they got a shot. All right. And then number 1 was the Lakers as the contenders as for the championship. Because of Luka and LeBron, I don't know what you could do with them. If one is off, the other one is on. All right. I think they only need is a big man in the middle, and then they can run it off and win the championship. If they don't do it this year, definitely next year when they get a big man. All right. We're talking this year. He thought this nigga talking about next year.
To be honest, Tweety, the key to their success is going to be the assists. If they can both average double-digit assists, and get them easy plays for the others, that's going to be the key to everything. The assists that those two are able to get.
Knock them down, yeah. If they can knock them down on these 3-pointers, they can do some things this year. And in the conference finals, it got to be that or nothing, or championship. I'm sorry, they got to win. They got to go to conference. What? No, I was gonna say the key to the Lakers gonna be rebounding. It's not going because they're small. What happens is while these teams are shooting the 3-pointers, then the Lakers are corralling the rebounds, and that's why they're staying in the game defensively, because they're rebounding because they're in the best rebounding position. The key to the Lakers being able to advance is going to be if teams decide they're going to slow it down and then pound it down low and make the Lakers defend from inside out rather than outside in. I think that's the key. For me, my couple teams, I'm going to say this. I think I would disagree with the OKC not being a contender. I think contender means you're going to advance through the playoffs and you may not make it to the championship, but you're a contender because OKC's going to make it to the Western Conference Finals without a doubt. I don't think they make it to the championship because they haven't been through the rigors and awards that it requires to understand how to win the playoffs. But I think they'll get through the first couple of rounds. They'll have an easy first round. I think they'll get through and squeak through a second round. I don't think they'll make it past the Western Conference Finals, but I think they're a contender. Denver Nuggets, I struggle with them because while offensively they're very strong, they have no type of avoidance or no type of defense in the paint going to the basket because Joker doesn't play defense and they don't do a good job of staying in front. They're the 18th ranked rated defense in the league while they're number 2 on offense. That's an imbalance. And typically there's only been 2 teams in the last 30 years that's been higher than the 13 ranked that have won the championship. Only 2. I don't think Denver wins the championship. I will put them in for the purposes of they've been there before. I'll put them in the ranks of the contenders. Memphis, I say, to Martin's point, he made an excellent point. It's all up to Ja. Because what's going to happen is when you get to the playoffs and things slow down, your superstars would carry you on in a series and carry you beyond. So I think him, number one, he's got to be healthy, and then he's got to show up in the moments that they need him to. And he's got to be old Ja, meaning not the jump shot shooting Ja. He's got to be in the lane, scoring in the paint Ja, for them to have a good chance, which then going to free up everybody else to be able to get the shots they want. So I'm going to mark Memphis for now as a contender, even though they've been struggling the last couple of games. They're on like a 2-game losing streak now. I still think they're a contender, and I think they're going to potentially be problems because they can rebound the ball, they play defense, and they're top 10 both offensively and defensively in the NBA. So I think for that reason they're a contender. The Lakers, I have to admit, I didn't think the Lakers were a contender either. I thought they would struggle with defense and rebounding the ball. And to the credit of LeBron in particular, I think Luka, the pieces bring him on, freed up LeBron. Well, LeBron's not getting all the double teams he was before. And I think JJ Redick is actually, I have to give him much credit. I think he devised a scheme and a game plan that's allowing them to win. and they're being successful with it. So I have to throw the Lakers in to the mix as a contender. And I say Houston too young, very athletic, but too young. They need another reliable 20-point game scorer to go with Sengun down low. They need somebody else to. I think Thompson is going to be that guy because I really like what I've seen out of him this year. I think he goes downhill very well, and his ability, his jumping ability, he's quick off his feet, so I think he can get a shot off. I think he's going to be the next guy to watch out for them. And then you throw that with Van Vliet shooting the ball from the outside. I think that gives them 3 level of good offense. But that'll be next year. But this year they're a pretender, and I think the Clippers. We shouldn't even talk about the Clippers. The Clippers are never going to be a contender, and if they are, none of us will be around to see it. Poor Tyronn Lue got stuck with that sucker team, but the Clippers aren't going anywhere.
Well, while we are on the subject, who do each of you believe is coming out of the Western Conference? Rodney, since you were last talking, how about you name your choice for who do you think is coming out of the conference?
I hate to say it, Nina, but I'm gonna have to say the Lakers. And I would tell you right now is a good time to bet them. They're plus 900 at the book. So go to the book, put your little money on the Lakers. It's going to be a good payoff and they're 375 to come out of the West and then 900 to win. But I think the Lakers. I say Lakers.
All right. Okay. Martin, how about you?
I hate to say it, but I think it's going to be the Denver Nuggets. I think because I think eventually this defense that I said about the Lakers is going to catch up with them. Right now, they're riding a high ride and this and that, and that's good. But I just think in the long run, it's going to hurt them in the playoffs. And I think the team that will make it a problem for them is the Denver Nuggets with Joker in the middle. I think that's really going to be a problem for them. So I think the Denver Nuggets might be back in the finals.
Oh, okay. Quinton, what do you think?
I'm gonna roll with the King. It may be a hard pick, maybe a long shot, but like Rodney said, they got pretty decent odds. But I like the way they playing. I like what they doing. And yes, Denver does scare me, and that's probably the only team that does scare me in this. But I think that enough scheming and you might be able to pull it off, to get around them too. So I'm going with the King and the Lakers.
All right. Okay. And last but not least, Tweety, what do you think?
I hate to say it.
Obvious.
I hate to say it. But I really think OKC might come out the West against the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. Them young boys, I think they ready. They might be ready to come out that West. It depends on Shea. If Shea can get a triple-double or something in these playoffs and do what he do, them young guys, they might be ready to come out the West.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on then. All right. That cleaned up pretty nicely. Each of you guys had your little difference of opinions. Drop a comment down below. Who do you think is right out of this 4? Or what is your opinion on that? But let's move on. Let's move on to the Eastern Conference. And let's go through the 6 teams for that. And you'll each choose who you think is going to be a contender or a pretender. So let's go through the 6. So we got the Detroit Pistons. We got the Indiana Pacers, Milwaukee Bucks, New York Knicks, Boston Celtics, and Cleveland Cavaliers. So let's get it started. Let's start with Martin, okay? Martin, who do you think is a contender versus a pretender out of the 6?
Okay, let's just keep this real here. I'm from the D. I love the D. And actually, the Pistons, I was the one person this year, start of the season, when they got the veterans, I said the Pistons going to be better. And a lot of people laughed at me. They ain't laughing no more. I do think going forward for after the playoffs and stuff like that, I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to have a good spot. But I think this year it's going to be real fresh for them, this and that. So I think this year we're going to call them pretender. But it's still a great year for the Pistons, making that step, going to the playoffs, and actually making it, and not even playing in the playing game. So I think that's a good step for them. But I think this year they will be a pretender. Um, let's go on to um, Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland Cavaliers, they are a contender. The Cleveland Cavaliers could be in the NBA Finals. They will have a tough challenge, but I think by them playing together for these last 3-4 years, they have a good combination of guard play. They have a good combination of big guys with Mobley and Froman. So I think they have a really good chance to make it to the finals. But I'm gonna say that for the last. But they are a contender for sure. I'm not going to tell you about Boston Celtics. We all know Boston Celtics. They are a contender. They live and die by the three, but they have a lot of different weapons to shoot a three ball, and they also defend, and they also can get to the basket as well. They have a lot of different players that can step up. So Boston for sure is contender. We're not going to even discuss that. That's out the window. Who is left here? Who's left on the
Knicks?
The Knicks. I was trying to avoid this. I was trying to avoid this. The Knicks is my team. I love the Knicks, but I have to say that they're a pretender only because after watching them versus the top teams, they can't beat the top teams. They can beat everybody else, but they cannot beat the top teams. So I would have to say pretender. It's only 3 teams in the East that's going to be contenders, and that third team that's a contender, I think the Milwaukee Bucks. And the only way I give the Milwaukee Bucks a chance is because they did it before, and they did it before on the big stage. They won the finals, and they had that guy, and they have that one guy that I know that's going to bring it every night, and that's the Greek Freak. So with him and with the shooters they have around them, they did lose Middleton, and I thought that was a very big piece to lose. But I think with him, and I'm thinking that it's got to be one time in his career that Dame Lillard is going to have to step up and be a championship player. And he going to have that opportunity playing with the Greek Freak on the big stage. And I'm hoping, because I'm a Dame Lillard fan, so I would love to see him step up, and I think he will. So I do think that they are a contender, and I do think that they can contend with Boston and Cleveland.
Okay, all right. Let's move on. Rodney, what do you think? Out of our 6, who are our contenders and pretenders?
All right, thank you, Nina. I think Martin covered it pretty well. We agree on a good portion of that, but I had a couple of things. I would say Detroit Pistons. Being from Detroit, I would say certainly proud of what they've accomplished this year. I think they've exceeded all expectations. I think they're a pretender for this year, but they're going to be riding a nice wave coming out of this season with the progress they made. They make another couple of pickups. They'll be contender next year. I think they have Cade that's coming to his own. I think watch the Pistons. They'll be a contender when we talk about this next year. Indiana Pacers. Great offensive team, but not as great as they were last year. Very bad defensive team. They're about as bad as they were last year. They're currently like 20th defensive rating in the league, and 20, like I said, 3 teams only over the course of the 2 teams only, 2 over the course of the last 30 years have won that were higher than 13 defensive rating. The Indiana Pacers won't be them. I would say you could normally have a little bit more of a ride with their offense, but I think without them being the point guard being more aggressive, I think that they've lost a step on offense this year, where his step back has cost them. So I think they're a pretender also. On the contender side, I think Milwaukee, certainly, when you got Giannis, you got Dame in the crunch time, you have a big presence down below that can guard the paint, and Lopez, and you have nice complementary pieces. I like what they have around them. And I do think while the Middleton was a loss, I think some of the additions they made at a trade deadline are paying dividends for them. You got Portis, who's out now, who will be back for just before the playoffs. So I think Milwaukee is primed to be a good contender. Their record won't be as good, but I would say if Milwaukee can get into the playoffs and have home court the first round, if they can muster that, then I think watch out for them. In particular, if Dame gets hot. Because Giannis is going to come and bring his every night. So the wild card is Giannis. The wild card is Dame. If Dame comes and brings it and has a Dame-littered couple of series that gets on a streak, then watch out. They could beat everyone because they got those two guys. So I'll say Milwaukee's a contender. The Knicks, unfortunately, when they made the trade for Towns and some of the other moves they made, they got better offensively, but they got weaker defensively. So it remains to be seen when Robinson comes back if they're going to resume playing better defense or what that looks like. I think Robinson's a big piece for them on defense. And then Anunoby's been out, but now that he's back, then we'll see if their defense comes together. But right now, I'd have to say the way they play defensively, and like Martin said, when you watch the games, they played against both Cleveland and Boston in particular, who's their primary competition to make it out the East. They got blown out every game. So it doesn't bode well. I think the Knicks are going to be an outside looking in, and I have to mark them down as a pretender. The Celtics are they're the number one contender in the Eastern Conference. They're defending champs, and somebody's going to have to go in and beat them. They're not going to beat themselves unless they have too many cold three-point shooting nights. They can. But I just think the way they play defensively, they'll have Porzingis this year for the full playoffs, more than likely if he stays healthy. So you got to put them as number one contender, even though they won't be the number one seed. And then lastly, Cleveland. Cleveland's proven that, and they've been the most consistent and the best team all year. Them and OKC flip a coin on who's been the better team. But I think Cleveland made nice additions to their team by picking up Hunter at the trade deadline. I think that was a great pickup. You saw the other day when Donovan Mitchell didn't play, that Hunter had 32 and was the reason for them winning. He was averaging 19 off the bench when he was in Atlanta. So I would tell you, Hunter was a great pickup for them. And then the continuity that they've built over the years with keeping the team together. When a lot of teams break up players and break up the team, they kept it together, and I think it's paid dividends. Cleveland's going to be a tough out, I think, coming into the playoffs. So they're definitely a contender.
Okay, all right. Good list. Good. All right, let's move on. Let's move on to Tweety. Tweety, who do you think is a contender versus a pretender?
All right. It's only 3 contenders in the Eastern Conference. You got the Celtics, the Cavs, and the Bucks. And the only thing comes down for the Cavs is injuries. The Cavs, if they can stay injured free, they can beat Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals. But Garland, I think it was Garland, he was hurt. It's all up to injuries for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Because Celtics, Jrue Holiday, he's still out. Jrue Holiday out. So if the Celtics can start making their threes or continue making their threes, no one's beating them out the East. But Milwaukee, you can't count out Milwaukee either. Milwaukee, with the addition to Kuzma, and when they shipped Middleton out of there, I think that was a good pickup for the Bucks. Was Kuzma from Wizards. So it's only 3 contenders, and those are 3.
All right, pretty good. Short and sweet. All right, Quinton, let us know, who are your pretenders and contenders?
Start with these Pistons, Nina. Well, that's my heart and soul, and these guys say they're from Detroit, but I bleed for them every day. I'm watching them every day, and that's my team. Through it all. So the turnaround this year has been tremendous. I want to say that, and Bernie Bickerstaff should be coach of the year. The turnaround, and this team has just been phenomenal. So I would like to say that Cade has been playing out of control. We just beat Boston, had a big game, 8-game winning streak, so let's give a shout out to them. Like Rod said, they're up and coming, but we can't make them. Not yet, just not yet. Maybe next year, a little more under their belt. I think they will maybe get in the playoffs, grow a little bit, maybe get a game or two under their belt, but it's not the year for them. Same thing with Indiana. I'm not feeling them at all. Actually, I'm looking for the Pistons to leapfrog them in the standings, because I as the Pistons continue to play the way they play and they continue to slide, I can see that them leapfrogging them in the standings. The Knicks, when they first got Thompson, I said, wow, this is awesome. This is the move that they needed, but it just ain't working out the way I thought it was. And like Martin said, just having trouble beating the top teams. So, we're going to have to call them pretenders because of that. Milwaukee Bucks playing great ball, kind of gelling at the right time too. Everything's kind of coming together. They've been getting tremendous play from Lopez lately. Ageless wonder, the center, he's 3 inside outside game. They've been getting a lot of good play from him. Like Rod said, we need Dame to be a little more consistent. Giannis is always going to give you, his consistent game, but Dame is the X factor with that. So, I'm going to call them contenders for, they actually have a chance if they can put it together, Cleveland Cavaliers, good team. They are contenders, but I think they're going to come up a little short. I mean, like we've said before on this list, you can be a contender and still not go all the way. So I'm going to say they're a contender. They got some good pieces, but they're not ready to go all the way, which leaves us with Boston. Ever since these two guys got played on the Olympic team, I think that they're hungry. And I think they hungry in a different way, and I think it pissed them off in a way that you probably shouldn't have pissed people off. So look for them to come out of the East, pretty much. I don't think nobody will mess with them, to be honest with you. So they are the number 1 contender. You might get them a game, you might get them 2, but in a series, I don't see it happening. So we're gonna say that's my number 1 contender coming out of the East.
All right. Well, it looks like you had already answered the next question, which was, who do you think is coming out of the East? That's a good start. Quinton, let's move on then. Let's go back to Tweety. Who do you think is coming out of the Eastern Conference?
It got to be Boston. No one's beating Boston when they making their threes like that. So it got to be Boston for me. That's on even if Drew Holiday doesn't play or somebody gets injured, it's always going to be Boston coming out the East.
Good answer. All right, Martin.
Oh boy, this is tough. I want to say Boston, but I got something to say, y'all. I'm gonna mix up the game here. I think Cleveland gonna do it this year, man. I think Cleveland got a really good chance to make it out of the East, because the one thing I got a problem with Boston is they live and die by that 3-point shot. When they have the best team, to me, I think Boston have the best team, and I think if they played the right way, I think it wouldn't even be. I don't even think it'd be close. But Boston falls in love with that 3-point shot, and when they're missing a shot, they keep on shooting them threes when they can easily get to the basket and score buckets. And I think this Cleveland team, they've been together for these 4-5 years, and they have a good combination of the guard play and with the big fellas, with the Fro and the youngster. I think Cleveland gonna do it. I'm gonna roll with Cleveland. Let's go.
Oh, okay. And Rodney, what do you think?
I've been giving it some thought, and actually, if you'd asked me a couple weeks ago, I would have said Boston for sure. But over the course of the last couple of weeks, I've kind of morphed and changed a bit. So I'm gonna go even a little bit further left field. I think it's gonna be Dame time, and I think Giannis is gonna do his thing, and I think we're gonna be in for a surprise. I think Milwaukee Bucks are going to come out of the East and go to the NBA championship. So give me the Milwaukee Bucks. I think the combination of Dame and and Giannis show up in the playoffs this year.
All right. Wow. Okay. And this is our final question of the evening. Okay. Who wins the NBA championship? Let's go around the room. Rodney, since you spoke last, why don't you get us started?
Greek freak. Give me Milwaukee Bucks to win it all. I think this is the year to Dame. I think Dame gets his ring this year. I think Giannis does his thing, cements himself. So when we come back and have the conversations about top 5 power forwards again, then Giannis moves up the list. Give me the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay. What about you, Quinton?
Lakers, much as Lakers coming out of the West and I want them to do it, I don't think nobody's stopping Boston. Like I say, Boston's got a chip on their shoulder. They gave them a reason to have it, so I'm going to roll with Boston.
All right. Martin, what do you think?
Oh, boy, this is tough. But I'm going to tell y'all something. I'm about to throw some surprises out there for y'all. And so I got Denver and Cleveland in the finals. And I'm going to break something new, y'all. This is brand new news. I'm going with the Cleveland Cavaliers to try and win this championship this year. Big surprise, everybody. And we're going to go back and look about 3 months from now, and y'all going to be patting me on my back. Because I think by them playing together for these years, these last 3-4 years, I really think that they done built something. And I think Mitchell is ready to step up and be that guy. Let's go. Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's go.
Wow. Okay. Quite the answer. Tweety, why don't you wrap this up for us?
All right. Here we go. There will not be a back-to-back winner this year in the NBA. Okay. So I got OKC beating the Boston Celtics for the NBA championship this year. Them young guns, I think they ready. They ready to run. So that's who's going to win the championship this year, OKC.
Wow. Okay. Any final remarks?
Yeah, JJ Redick's going to win Coach of the Year. Just to let y'all know.
JJ Redick. Okay, I can see that. All I'm gonna say is LeBron James, what he's doing at 40 years old, you will never see this again. And they pulled up the stats the other day of his stats this year at 40 years old and his stats when he was at Miami when he was like 25, 26. And they are better at him at 40. I'm just saying, he's the GOAT. Let's talk about it.
Tweety, the Pistons only won 19 games last year. They already won on pretty much 30 games. The turnaround is too big for that. You can't have 2 superstars and get Coach of the Year. You know what I'm saying? You got to actually coach. You know,
he's a rookie coach. He a rookie coach. He's the second in the West.
I'm gonna tell you the thing to watch. The thing to watch is this: if the season continues on, where if Luka becomes what Luka was in Dallas, but without the ball domination that he had, but he becomes the scorer he was efficiently, where LeBron rests, I think if you see LeBron able to sit out and come in halfway through the fourth quarter and then be fresh, then the league might be in trouble. The Lakers might win the championship if you get a fresh LeBron, which is what they've wanted AD to do, and AD just wasn't that player that had the fire and could take the game over and allow LeBron to rest. I think LeBron that's rested could be a problem for the league, and I think the Lakers have a chance of winning if LeBron, the rested player, going into the playoffs.
Hey, look, you can't play both sides of the fence. Now you just said someone else gonna win. Now you can't talk about Lakers gonna win the championship. Now you stop.
I'm picking the Bucks. But what I'm saying is, watch out if LeBron gets rested.
Okay, all right.
You know, 2 chains or 2 teams always got to have a backup plan.
That's right, baby.
For sure.
Well, that is all we have time for tonight. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's podcast. We had a lot to discuss today, so write in the comments below, who do you think is going to win the NBA championship after you heard today's discussion? Let us know if you had any gripes, any favorites about today's discussion. We want to know it all in the comments. Make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button for us, and we hope to see you in our next podcast. This has been the Hood Report, and we hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you then.
For sure.
All right, peace out.
What up,
Rodney.
though?
What up, though?
What up, though, baby?